Well, I was going to say, when you look at all of this, looking at all the figures, in terms of comparing to periods before, well, we've put aside 2009, let's say, what is the trend that we see between, for instance, 2023 and now? If you take these figures, well, of course, now we know that whatever you're churning out, whatever you churned out in 2023 was arrived at on a different so it might be difficult to put an answer to what, because I was going to say, what does it show? Does it show that there is a slowing of the economy or otherwise? But then again, that's the challenge of having
if you ask this question next month,
all right,
next month you will get some positive
let me
answers.
say something on that as the price expert for the bureau. 24.4% inflation rates is not a small figure when you are comparing 2025 to 2024. It means that the inflationary pressure is still there. To refer to your question, the trend in 2020 to 2024, you know, 2023 we have a lot of shocks. Fuel subsidy removal, exchange rate unification, and all those things are price influencing policies. And those policies are still in place. So the price movement, the trajectory of price movement in 2023 extended to 2024. So that is why after the rebase, we still have about, if you go to other countries, when they rebase, countries that don't have high inflationary pressure, you see come to maybe 10%, 7%. So this 24%, I want Nigerians to know, it's not that prices or inflationary pressure have come down. It's even relatively high when you are comparing to just a year different. And you're having 24 points. The only thing is that it shows. And another thing I want Nigerians to know is this. From your report, prices of food items have started coming down gradually. You could see when they say bag of rice, tomato, farm produce, especially farm produce, they are coming down. So don't be surprised. All things being equal, the inflationary pressure may start easing down over time. Because you know, food has almost 40%.
Yes, which is
whatever happened to food has a greater multiplier effect on the inflation we are computing. So I can say the thing may start easing down, all things being equal.
Which hardly ever is the case. Because there are other pressures.
Yes.
Not the least energy,
Yeah.
which takes away whatever savings you have.
Even
from
health as well,
health.
transportation. And apart from that, our food produce in Nigeria is not just only farm produce. Manufactured food, imported
processed
food, their prices have not subsided. They are still on the high side. So people are saying because farm produce is coming down, so the inflation may lie. No.
You still have processed food
have import elements.
That's
and
right.
you know that exchange rate is still relatively on the high side.
Well,
so that is
a lot of rural folks will tell you they've got little or nothing to do with imported processed food, because even what used to be the middle class that had a taste for that is almost totally gone now. And there's been, most importantly, a change in consumption patterns.
No, without a doubt. But you asked one question about monetary policy implication. You know, I had so many debates just before the MPC sat, and I did recognize that one of the reasons that was driving the tightening and hiking of the monetary policy rate was the perceived difference. You know, we were on negative real interest rate, which is one of the ECOWAS macroeconomic convergence criteria. If your inflation is higher than the interest rate, then the bank is likely to keep going up until it meets, because you are on negative interest rate. But now that the statistics have suggested that it is 24.5%, is now below the 27.5% of the monetary policy rate. So it's difficult now. It's difficult to convince people why you should go up when there's an inflection in that, so they had to now stay steady, but not come down for a little while, because there's so many things happening externally. You don't know what will happen next month with Donald Trump and all his oil policy and all that stuff. So it was important to just hold and see what happens. Just give it a month or two to see which direction to go. But it was a very important one that it actually arrested the sharp rises in the monetary policy rate. And then, of course, the banking sector will adjust to, and all other things that are monetary will take a cue from holding the rates. And investment is still coming. Foreign portfolio investment is still coming. But also the treasury bills dropped from 22.8% down to 18%. Again, that is a benefit that we have seen. Yeah. It has forced things to start, the steam is coming off.
The change, can I say something?
Yes, please.
All right. The change in the consumption pattern is one of the reasons for rebasing, because the consumption habits of Nigerians in 2009 and our consumption habits now are not the same. And the rebasing has captured this. And if you look at, for example, even in the weight, the more important a particular item is becoming, the more weight is being attached. For example, education and healthcare, they have the weightage they have doubled. And then if you look at ICT, communication, information and communication, it has multiplied maybe times 5. And all of us will agree that between 2009 and 2024, a lot of things have happened, and the way we consume ICT is not the same now when compared to 2009. So basically, that's the essence of the rebasing, to capture these changes in consumption, to update the items. We were talking about 740. We're doing 934 now, and not just adding almost 200. We changed some of the items in the 740, and even the weight of the item. So a lot of things have happened, and even the economic trends have changed, and all these have largely been captured by the base CPI.